Howdy-ho, Andrew here. Welcome to the Onion Buns and welcome to Let's Talk Oilers. So, I don't want to put the cart ahead of the horse, but have the Oilers started to turn it around finally? Is that what we're seeing? I'm really hopeful. I really am. Because those first 22 games of this season were painful. And the media and the pundits and all them, they can make as many excuses as they want. The simple truth is, in those first 22 games, for the teams we played, we should have came away with at a minimum, 11 wins. Not 500 hockey, but 11 wins, and then whatever we had after that in overtime losses, But in the first 22 games, we should have been at 11 wins, and then, we had 5 overtime losses, so 11 wins, 5 overtime losses, and that would have meant 6 losses, 6 regulation losses. That's what our record should have been at a minimum, because the teams we were playing were not good for the most part. There was a couple in there, and that's covered by the 6 legitimate overtime losses. But for the most part, we should have really been padding our points, and we didn't. We absolutely did not. So now we got our big homestand, and we're looking at padding them now. And we just finished against Winnipeg, and we have 3 wins in a row, or 2 wins in a row, and it should have been a 3rd win, but okay. Mini played really good. It was a 1-0 game, so you can't really bitch too much about it other than that we didn't score. But so, hey, let's see what we got going. But, things are looking up. They're looking really up. So, I'm hopeful. And that's about all I can say on that is I'm hopeful, and let's see where we go. Alrighty, our injury report. Edmonton injury notes. Philip returned to practice today. I'm filming this on Monday, December 8th. So, Philip returned to practice today and is getting closer. Another week at the earliest. So, probably 2 weeks would be a safe bet. Wallman will take longer than expected. Shared knob block. Won't be this week, and unlikely for next week. It's going to be a while, so I'm going to go ahead and say we're probably not going to see Wallman until January. Because we got the 2 weeks that he's not going to be back. That takes us to the 22nd. Then you got Christmas. It's going to be January for Wallman. And you know what? Maybe that break over Christmas is good. It gives him that little extra time to heal up. Both Rosovich and Kapanen will be around Christmas time. We'll see. Rosovich, maybe. Kapanen, it was such an innocent little play that re-injured him in a practice that until I actually see him playing, I'm not counting my chickens. And hopefully they don't rush him. Like, if you're getting injured in a practice because you're being rushed back, that's a sign that maybe you need to step back and let it happen naturally. And, we're winning now and we're playing good. So the pressure is off of rushing these guys back. So give them the time to do it. Clattenburg, as reported on Saturday, is about a week away. He took a stick right to the eye. So he didn't return that game, and he didn't return the next game, the Winnipeg game, and now they're saying he's about a week away. I say the same thing. Eyes are so delicate, and he plays such a physical form of game that I would give him extra time as well, just to make sure we've dotted our I's, hence the pun, and crossed the T's. Give him the chance. It would be one thing if we were still playing as dreadful as we were in those first 22 games. Then there would be more urgency. But now we seem to have come together, so let's give him the chance to heal as well. I honestly, as long as the team keeps playing the way they've been playing, I'm okay with none of those guys returning until January. I'd rather be safe than sorry for them. And so that's where we sit with that. All right, time for my favorite segment of the week, making fun of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's start with the Simpsons. Homer, wow, the fortune cookies really are more accurate. His fortune? The Leafs will exit in the first round. I don't know, that might be even optimistic. I don't know if they're making the first round this year. They're not playing well. But to follow that up, we got, you hear this chant at Leaf games all the time when you get near the playoffs. And it's such a stupid chant. You know, like, you guys should win something before you start chanting for this. So, yeah, you can see what I'm talking about. It is such a stupid chant. But it really is what they chant at the Leafs Arena. And for the third one, we're going to stick with the Stanley Cup theme. You got a Leaf player in bed. This is our year to win the cup. And you got the guy visit him. It's time to pull the plug. It's over. That is credited to the Boston Bruins fans, and they are always so brutal on the Leafs. So anyway, that is making fun of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I say this every week, and I'm going to keep saying it. It never gets old, people. It never gets old. I can do this all year, and I'm going to. All right, we got 3 games to recap. Now, I got to, right off the bat, I got to make a little announcement here. The Winnipeg game, I did not do a game after recap on, and I apologize to everybody for that. But the truth is, Saturdays are brutal for me. And I did not get home until 11:45 midnight. I settled in, I hit the recording, I started watching the game, and I was passed out by about 1:30 before the game ever ended. But, you know, even if that hadn't happened, I'm not sure I could have filmed, because the truth is, to do those game recaps, they're 4.5 hour affairs. It's 2 to 2.5 hours for the game to watch, and I'm taking notes, so I actually have to watch. I can't just play it in the background. Then I have to come upstairs and set up the camera. It takes like a couple seconds, but whatever. Then I film it, and I do the recap of the game, and I give you my opinions, and I write out my long-winded BS and everything like that, and the 3 stars and the 3 slugs and everything like that. And that usually takes about, if it's a 30-minute video, it takes about 45 to 50 minutes to film. And then you're looking at 1.5 to 2 hours to edit it. So if you think about it, on that Saturday, it was going to be 12 to 2:30 to watch the game, then let's say 45 minutes to film. So now we're at 3:15 in the morning, and then 2 hours to edit. So now we're at 5:15 in the morning. I could do that when I was in my 20s. I can't do that anymore, people. So unfortunately, I did not have a recap for the Winnipeg game. I'll still cover it at the end of this, but that is the reason why you did not see the daily recap the day after. All right, so December 2nd, 2025, Oilers versus Minnesota Wild, game 27. The lines remain exactly the same from the Seattle game, including Skinner in net. Minnesota was coming in with 11-2-1 in their last 14 games. So this will be the Oilers' toughest game of their 5-game homestand. So as I said, we lost. Minnesota won 1-0. Overall, a solid game, but you can't win if you don't score. Skinner and Wallstedt were both excellent in net. I said going in, we needed 4 to 5 wins in this 5-game homestand. This was our hardest matchup of the homestand. So this was our gimme game that we could lose, and we did lose. I wish we had lost in overtime at least, but we couldn't even get one past Wallstedt. And I'm going to be honest, we did not test Wallstedt. We got 32 shots on net, but he didn't make any amazing saves. We never really tested him. So Oilers at that time were 11-11-3. So like I said at the beginning, after 22 games, we should have been 11-6-5. Instead, we are 11-11-5 after 27 games. So that's how badly we've been off pace. What I wrote is, so normally I do 3 stars, but with no scoring and everyone playing well, it's hard to pick out any skaters that stood out above the others. So stars, number 1, Skinner, .950 save percentage, and number 2, team effort. And the whole team gave us a really good effort, they just didn't score. Slugs, there was no slugs for that game, even though we lost. You know, I've been going on all season, I want a 60-minute effort. They gave us a 60-minute effort. So I'm not going to rag on them over that. Solid team effort, but we need offense from our top 6. All right, and that was the end of that game. Next game was Oilers versus Seattle, December 4th, 2025, game 28. The pre-show, I wrote, huge news. For those of you that routinely watch my humble videos, and I do thank you and appreciate you for doing so, I've been yelling from the rooftop that McDavid, Hyman, and RNH need to be on the top line. And that's exactly what we're getting tonight. So Oilers win 9-4. Shots on goal were 32-32. And what I wrote afterwards was, well, that was fun. This is what I think the Oilers expected at game 1 of the season. 5 to 9 goals a night, outscoring defensive liabilities and average goaltending. Just we haven't seen the offense before now. So the question is this the norm or an outlier, and they still need to focus on team defense? I guess we'll find out. Find that answer on Saturday versus Winnipeg. 3 stars, 1 McDavid, 3 goals, 1 assist. Leon, 1 goal, 3 assists, and RNH, 3 assists. Slugs, again, no slugs. We absolutely outplayed Seattle. We played to what we should expect this team to play to. So McDavid was a man possessed tonight, helped greatly by RNH on his wing. Leon was Leon, dominant 5-on-5 and on the power play. RNH showed beyond any doubt he belongs on the top line with McDavid and Hyman. As for slugs, this wasn't the shutdown defensive effort we saw versus Minnesota or Seattle last week, but there was no horrendous errors either. Really good error, so no slugs. Oilers are now 12-11-5. Next game Saturday, December 6th versus Winnipeg. And the next game is December 6th, 2025, Oilers versus Winnipeg. This is a game I did not get to fully watch. I fell asleep. And so I don't have any notes written down for it. What I can tell you is the Oilers came out gangbusters in the first period, created a nice padding, and skated to a 6-2 win in the game. I don't have any slugs and I don't have any stars for the game because I never finished watching the game. Like I said, I didn't get to start watching this game until midnight. I fell asleep somewhere around 1 to 1:30 on the sofa and never did finish watching the game. So it's not fair to me to start telling you who was good, who was bad, who was whatever. So it's just we won 6-2. That is a good sign that the Oilers are finding the offense. What I did notice is RNH remained with McDavid and Hyman, and they were gold. Savoy is playing much better with Leon than he ever did with McDavid, and that's going to create a very interesting issue when Rosovich comes back. Personally, I would still put Rosovich with Leon. I think Leon, Podkolzin, and Rosovich were absolute money. I think Savoy, Podkolzin, and Leon are very good, but one is money, one is very good. So I would still put Savoy down onto the third line when Rosovich comes back. But as I said in the starting of this video, I wouldn't rush Rosovich back. We're winning, everything's going good, so I wouldn't rush him back. I would let him heal fully, and if he's not back till January, that just means Savoy stays for the month of December on Leon's line. All the power to him. So the Oilers are now 13-11-5. That gives us a little bit of breathing room, but I still want to see 2 more wins on our homestand, and then we'll be back on the road. And that's my video for this week. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, a subscribe, and a share. I'm trying to grow my channel, and a like, a subscribe, and a share does me wonders, and I do appreciate it. Takes 1 second to subscribe, costs you absolutely nothing, helps me immensely. Just hit the subscribe button on the bottom of the screen. Always feel free to leave a comment. I encourage everybody to leave a comment. Not only does it get us interacting, but it really does help me with the YouTube algorithm and getting more eyes on my videos. And as always, pew, 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 and shit. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.